Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport and back to One Race Wonders, Sweden Special. We looked at Bertil Roos in part 1 of our trilogy of Swedish Formula 1 drivers who only made one appearance in Formula 1. This time we are looking at the second Swedish One Race Wonder, Torsten Palm. Sweden has had a lot of talented Formula 1 drivers, from Gunnar Nilsson to Ronnie Peterson to Ryan Vissel, Stefan Johansson, Joe Bonnier, even drivers like former ABBA session drummer Slim Borgard and Indy 500 winner Marcus Ericsson are great race drivers. Outside of Formula 1 you have the likes of Johan Kristoffersson, Matthias Ekström, Felix Rosenqvist, Rickard Rydell. Honestly, the list of Swedish racing superstars is endless. This One Race Wonders series is about the drivers who made a single start in Formula 1. But it should be noted that Sweden is one of the top racing nations out there, and it has a bright future. Subscribe and let's jump into this look at the racing career of Torsten Palm. Torsten Palm is the younger brother of rallying co-driver Gunnar Palm, who was alongside Erik Karlsson on his Monte Carlo rally win in 1963. Torsten Palm was himself a rally co-driver, finishing second on the Swedish rally, also with Erik Karlsson and Finnish rally legend Simo Lampinen in a Saab. In 1969, Torsten Palm switched from guiding rally drivers to racing for himself on the track. He purchased a used Brabham chassis and entered the Swedish Formula 3 Championship. He was instantly quick, taking several podiums and finishing runner-up to Ronnie Peterson in the final standings. In 1970, he continued in the championship, winning it, and then winning it again in 1971. He has also led Sweden to victory in the Formula 3 Nations Cup. The big problems that plagued Torsten Palm throughout his brief motorsport career was, firstly, funds. Finding sponsors and funding his attempts whilst racing an aging Brabham F3 car was tough. He was also mostly racing on the same tracks, showing speed at those tracks, but not being given the opportunities to show that speed elsewhere. Palm did start to branch out, racing his Formula 3 car in Brazil to moderate success on circuits he was not used to, and he made sporadic appearances around Europe, but he eventually wound up trapped back in Sweden, his car no longer competitive, only powering Palm to sporadic results here and there. He was given an opportunity to return to his roots in 1973, when he was the co-driver for Ronnie Peterson's attempt at the Swedish rally, but the pair retired early, despite Ronnie Peterson driving across 7 countries overnight to make the start. Palm entered the Swedish rounds of the European F3 Series later in the year, and that earned him a seat at Team Pierre Robert in a GRD 274 BMW, and Palm did score some points and even got to return for the small French team in 1974. But Formula 1 was cooling, and Torsten Palm was eager to answer the call, with a very Swedish company coming to his rescue. Torsten Palm is a driver who'd only get a Formula 1 drive in the 1970s. He wouldn't even get through Formula 4 today with a shoestring budget and a second-hand car. He'd be racing bangers in the forests of Sweden before you can say Krukotiska. He almost got a drive with the Embassy Hill team in 1974 through his good friend Ronnie Peterson doing him a favour, but without a sponsor to help pay for the drive, it never happened. Incidentally, the second Embassy Hill seat was shared between Guy Edwards, Peter Geffen and Rolf Stommelin, who scored no points between them. Graham Hill scored the team's only point that year, ironically enough, at the Swedish Grand Prix. Graham Hill and the Embassy Hill team would be sadly gone early into 1975, but Torsten Palm would get his backing from a rather unusual source. The Swedish Polar Caravan Company sponsored both Torsten Palm and the Swedish Grand Prix in 1975. Of course, he needed a car, and as luck would have it, Lord Hesketh needed money, and was funding the Hesketh team by renting out the second car. And so, with money from Polar Caravans and Hesketh's Formula 1 team running the car, Torsten Palm was entered into 2 Formula 1 races in 1975. And as this series is called One Race Wonders, I presume you can guess what happened next. Torsten Palms first entered the Monaco Grand Prix, a brave choice as he had never driven for famous harbour track before, had only driven for Hesketh once, and only 18 cars would make the start. Almost inevitably, Torsten Palm failed to qualify. But it wasn't all bad. Whilst he had qualified 5.5 seconds off Niki Lauda's pole time, Palm was only 4 seconds behind James Hunt and only missed out by a couple of seconds to Alan Jones, also in a Hesketh. He set a faster time than Lella Lombardi and Wilson Fittipaldi. Both would have longer, if not amazing, Formula 1 careers than Palm. The Swedish Grand Prix at Anderstorp offered a much better chance for Torsten Palm to race in Formula 1. All entries made the grid, so qualifying for the race wasn't an issue, and Palm knew the track. He managed to get the Hesketh into 21st place of 26, just 3 seconds off Vittorio Brambilla's pole time. Not only that, but he did brilliantly, fighting with some of the top names of the time just outside the points. Jody Scheckter, Emerson Fittipaldi and Ronnie Peterson were the cars ahead, whilst he left the likes of Alan Jones, Jackie Ickx, Patrick Depailler and John Watson. Sadly, Palm ran out of fuel on the last lap and was eventually classified 10th, but he had shown he had the speed to compete with some of the sport's best drivers. Unfortunately, we would never get to see him on a track outside of Sweden or in a competitive car. Palm's money had run out, so no more Formula 1, and within a year, he would be done with motorsport entirely. Torsten Palm would enter a few Formula 3 races in 1976, but was soon hanging up his helmet and turning to driver management. He helped run the career of fellow Swede Ege Elg. Sadly, Elg would have the same issue that Palm had in his career, as a lack of funds really stopped any chance Elg had of a Formula 1 career. He was a European Formula 2 race winner and even managed to score a test drive with McLaren, but nothing ever came of it, and Ege Elg would move to sports car racing, eventually moving to Japan and being an alright driver. Torsten Palm would stay away from motorsport entirely until the early 90s, when he once again returned to the dirt and entered a Lancia Delta Integrale in a couple of Swedish rallies, not as a co-driver, a full-blown rally driver. He also raced in local club races and the Swedish Clio Cup a few times, but not as a serious full-time entry. Torsten Palm is still alive and I imagine enjoying retirement from his apparently very successful car dealership in Sweden. Polar Caravans are still going strong as well, so this story has a happy ending. But Torsten Palm will always be one of Sweden's great one-race wonders. So that was the story of Torsten Palm's short Formula 1 career, the second part of our Swedish one-race trilogy. You can watch the playlist of One Race Wonders, it's in the end card below, with fantastic episodes from every decade of Formula 1, from Ernst Luth to Jack Aitken. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, you don't want to miss our third Swedish one race wonder. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching and have a good one.